there, my name is Callie Gardner, and this is my project for EDU 302, Understanding Diversity. To start, I just have a photo with a quote that says, "Each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. We all need mercy, we all need justice, and perhaps we all need some measure of unmerited grace." And this is from Brian Stevenson's book, Just Mercy. My cultural makeup. So, as I said, my name is Callie Gardner. I am a 20-year-old Caucasian, lower middle class, female, full-time employee at Starbucks Coffee Company, as well as a full-time student here at Arizona State University. I am currently an educational studies major with a goal to become a teacher in elementary school or a daycare instructor. And then these are just a couple of photos of me. My project is African American men in America. Race being African American, gender being men, and the intersection is in comparison to me being a Caucasian woman. I personally don't understand the race and gender of being an African American man because I am literally the opposite. I am a Caucasian white woman. Why is it important to distinguish stereotypes from reality? Stereotypes are a developed social construct. They are used to group people together with similarities noticed amongst a general majority. These stereotypes can be detrimental to the well-being of an individual because it takes away what makes them an individual. For those of you that went to an American high school, stereotypes were always there. I personally was the social butterfly stereotype. I didn't fit in one specific group other than the group of social butterfly because I like to go around and speak to everybody. I spoke to the jocks, the music nerds, the band geeks, all of them, but they were all grouped because of a general majority of similarity noticed. In the case of an African American man, it paints them in a negative light, simply because of the color of their skin and other distinguishing factors that some people can label as intimidating, though these men really haven't done anything to warrant such labels. For my first resource, the title being, "For Black Men, Being Tall Increases Threat Stereotyping and Police Stops." I have my link to the source listed below. The synopsis of this source. This research article was written by Neil Hester and Kurt Gray, and edited by Jennifer Richardson. The reason this article was written was to inform readers about the dangers a Black man endures by simply being put upon by a stereotype. The stereotype that Black men are dangerous is what has caused an increase in danger and police brutality of Black men in America. This article specifically touches upon the fact that not only are Black men affected, but also Black men that are taller, because height can be seen to assert dominance, even though height is an interpretation. My application to the intersection would be that the ideas presented in this article relate to intersectionality. It would be that of an American man's height in relation to the rate of police interaction in their geological area. This resource helps to expand my thinking or my ability to learn more about this area of cultural diversity and provides a resource that I'm able to use with my future learners to help them learn more about Black men in America along with the stereotypes that affect them. Resource number 2, titled Black Students, Stereotypes and Educational Opportunities. This is the dissertation. Link to the sources below. The purpose of this source is to serve as a generalized reasoning that Black students and their stereotypes in conjunction have an effect on their educational opportunities. The synopsis being, this resource addresses ideas about intersectionality on Black students in an educational and learning setting. They present the issues of equality in education and inequality in education at that, and the impact that it can have on students. The application. This resource supports my research because it is credible and chock full of information in an educational setting that applies to my cultural intersection of African American men and the stereotypes that come from being one in America. I plan to use this resource heavily as it has a very thorough framework, and I will be able to use it to inform myself on not just an educational framework, but also be able to generalize how I feel about the topic in order to create my own framework or curriculum to base off of for my students with it. Resource number 3, Just Mercy. This is a novel by Brian Stevenson. Synopsis being, Just Mercy is a book written by an African American lawyer who fights for justice for those who are wrongfully accused. The book centers its story around an African American named Walter McMillan, a Black man who was framed for the murder of a girl named Rhonda Morrison, convicted and sent to death row. Chapters are in the perspective of both the story as well as Stevenson's own account of the injustices in today's legal system. The application being, I could use this source to take excerpts from the book itself and ask students how they would react if they were in a jury for this crime, before mentioning that this story is so real for many African American men. Another way that this can be used is even for myself and my own personal reflection on the injustices of America's legal system, in order for me to make my own personal opinions, inferences, and thoughts when even watching crimes being committed or people being the victims of police brutality, specifically African American men and women, innocent until proven guilty. My big takeaways are a callback to stereotypical ideals and how it impacts others, no matter your gender or your race. These big takeaways: all men are created equal, regardless of the color of your skin, your ability, your gender, etc. Educational opportunities should not be based upon race or any other grouping for that matter. Different doesn't mean bad. Equal justice for all, regardless of the opportunity that you have to be represented. And last but not least, innocent until proven guilty always. My personal reflection on what I have learned. My personal reflection from this project has been that these men are not much different to myself in the sense of physicality. They're human, and so am I. They receive astronomical amounts of oppression and prejudice in ways that even myself as a woman cannot comprehend, simply because I do not experience racial prejudice because I am white, which is important to individually recognize. I myself can recognize that, but it is not my responsibility to make somebody else recognize that. They have to recognize it themselves for their own personal reflection. Stereotypes stop at each person's outlook. It is my job alone for myself to not take a stereotype and apply it if it can be potentially harmful or just downright untrue. I have my entire resource list accessible through a Google Docs link if anyone is interested. And that is all. Thank you so much for watching this presentation, and I hope you learned some insightful information on African American men in America.